All right, guys, appreciate you being here. We are doing this specific web clinic for JDFB insiders only. It's an exclusive web clinic. We'll have the recording posted sometime down the road, but I'm not guaranteeing this can be done anytime. It may be done tomorrow or tonight. It may be done in a week. I don't know, but we will get it. Going to do a couple things different, but I'm going to assume that most of you guys have been to a web clinic with us before, so we're not going to spend a lot of time introducing or getting into it. Certainly, hopefully you have some idea who I am. Do a couple of announcements, and then we'll get rolling. So first of all, as far as some announcements, again, the recording will be posted for insiders. It'll be posted sometimes in the next few days, and we'll make it available there. But I encourage you to be available or be in the live sessions. If you have questions, you have any problems, just let me know. Post it down in the chat room there. I have got a little setup where I can see a little bit better in the chat room now than we've had in the past. Do ask that you participate. It's a live web clinic. It's created for our members. We had a lot of guys asking about RPOs, both in our web clinics and on the forum and emailing me. So I felt that it was worthwhile to get everybody to get some things out there for guys. You know, I didn't think that this was something that was necessarily specific to Pistol Power Offense, or I would have just added it there. And I didn't think so. A lot of times with these more advanced topics, it's not a really good topic for a public web clinic, but for guys who are already involved in what we're doing, it's a great topic. So it's a live web clinic. Ask questions. However, the one thing that I do ask, if you have something that you want to share your knowledge on the forums. If you've got a great RPO that we don't talk about, I'd love you to post it on JDFB Insider rather than leaving a 200-word dissertation in the chat box. If you have something that you can contribute, please create a topic. Tell us about it. You don't have to just have a question to post on JDFB Insider. If you've got something you think other coaches can benefit from, please create a topic, post it up there. Whether you want some feedback on it or you just want to share it with guys because it's something that's worked for you, we'd love to have it. The one thing I ask is in the chat box, don't just offer your playbook or your brilliance. It gets really hard to follow and find questions when guys start posting. Send it to me too, Coach. We're all insiders here. We're all on the forums. Go on the forums and post it there. If you want to leave a note here saying, letting everybody know that it's going to be there, that's cool. And we'll look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing it too. Now, if you want to give more, if you got more than just a play that you want to do, I'm looking for guest presenters. I'm looking specifically for guest presenters who are JDFB Insider members. I'm not looking for guys who are at random. I'm not looking to go out and find a bunch of people and get them on here and all that kind of stuff. But I would love to, and I do intend to have members who have an area of expertise to come and present to everyone else. So if you've got something that you're really good at or you really want to share, or you've been working on and you think it's great, I would love for you to put together, if you've got something ready to go or you want to put together a web clinic for us, we'll definitely see if that's something we can get set up. I definitely want to do that with coaches going forward. Just shoot me an email or use the contact page on our site and get in touch with me. If you've got a clinic talk coming up, something you want to practice for, this is the place to do it. This is how I got ready when I did clinic talks. We'll do one of these and try it out. And if you've got a clinic talk coming up, you can try it out. If you just did a clinic talk and you don't want to wait till next year to polish it, then let me know. I would love looking specifically for 3-3 stat coaches or 3-5-3 coaches who've got some expertise in that area. Any sort of wing, single wing, double wing, wing T, any passing concept, quarterback play, 46 bear defense, and then 12-man football if you're in the Canadian game, like the 4-2-6 defense, especially 4-2-6 or 4-3-4 defenses. 4-3-4 would actually be a 4-3-5 defenses. If you're into those things, we'd love to hear from you and hear what you're doing and maybe get you on a web clinic. So be in touch with me if that's something that you want to do. I do want to remind you but let me just go back 1 minute. If you have anything that you want to speak on, I mentioned those topics because I'm specifically looking for people, but anything that you've got, I'm up for. Remind you about JDFB Weight Room. If in case you missed it, we've got a reminder. JDFB Weight Room is going to basically handle all of your off-season planning, programming, all that sort of stuff. And just so that you know, there's a $20. It's only $20 a month. It's $29 a month in general, but for members, you can get it for $20 a month in the general discussion forum of JDFB Insider. There's a yellow sticky at the top that says "Add JDFB Weight Room." You can go to that. We do the weekly programming, weightlifting instruction. We've got video on how to coach, not how to do the lift, because a lot of you know how to do the lift. It's more important to know how to coach. Yes, thank you, Pete. Good point on the speaking. Special teams, absolutely 100%. Strength conditioning, absolutely 100%. Bring guys in. Would love to have you guys if you want to talk special teams or strength and conditioning too. Those are great. To leadership, any topic that you guys want to talk about that you think is important and you think you've got something to contribute, I would love to hear it. But yeah, JDFB Weight Room is weekly programming. It's the same programming. For you guys that know, I'm moving to Amelia County High School, and we'll be there, and not until March at the earliest right now because we've got to wait for school board approval. So, but they're running the weight room with my with what we put. So I'm putting it together for the school that I'm headed to as well. So that's something that I'm actually using this. All right. So RPOs. Now, let me show you some footage from two teams that I've never coached. We did a little RPO, but y'all know last year, for those of you that don't know, last year I was a defensive coordinator, and we were a two-platoon team. I'm going to a smaller school. I'll be an offensive coordinator this year, but I'll obviously be coaching on the defensive side of the ball too. So I'm happy to be involved in both. But I don't really have any great footage of RPOs that I want to show you because we put it in last year. Really, we didn't have a good setup for it. So not that the design was there, but it never got going on paper. Never got from paper to field, I guess. So basically what I did was I went in and pulled a little film from YouTube. These are two teams. One's called Oregon. One's called Ohio State. They played in a game last January. That was for something, some sort of championship, whatever. Anyway, I just went through and kind of clipped it up. So this is probably illegal, but it's just a quick highlight RPO. So you guys know kind of like what we're talking about going into this. If you don't see it for some reason, just hold tight for 2 minutes. All right, so basically what we're looking at there, I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Most of you have probably seen them, but that was a few clips of teams that I've never been involved with or seen play live, running some RPOs. And what I want to get into now is what the purpose of an RPO is, and then we'll get into some examples, and then any questions you guys have or anything you want to use to fill out. And Keoki, I think it's a good topic. That'd be a great topic for a podcast, something maybe we'll look into, getting some clinic speakers together. So first of all, with RPOs, just again, I want everybody on the same page with what we're talking about, because this is a word that gets thrown around a lot. We'll talk both pre and post snap here. What we're talking about here is giving some power to the kids on the field to make more decisions, okay? Not just in the form of an audible, but both pre-snap, making some decisions, and then post-snap, making decisions as well. Run-pass options are going to give your quarterback a lot more responsibility on the field. If you can coach that quarterback up to really understand what's happening and keep it simple for him, then this is going to take a lot of pressure off of you as a play caller, but it doesn't take pressure off of you as a coach, because every single decision that kid makes, you are directly responsible for. Unfortunately, that kid, for most of us, is somewhere between the age of 13 and 18, and being reliant on a 17-year-old to make the right decision that may or may not cost you a game or your job is certainly doesn't take pressure off of you as a coach. But again, as a play caller, as far as getting the perfect play called every time, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of you. You're going to package a number of potential play calls together, and then package them into one play and let that kid on the field make the decision on what you should be doing. We can use pre-snap and post-snap RPOs, and some guys use some different things. The quarterback can make both a pre-snap decision and a post-snap decision. In some situations, you'll have a pre-snap decision and a post-snap decision involved in the plays. Some coaches are more into pre-snap. Some coaches are more into post-snap. I am looking mainly at post-snap, but at the same time, if there's something pre-snap there, I want to be able to take it. The quarterback's decisions will only be as good as you teach him. So whatever you decide to do, you've got to make sure that it's really clear what he needs to do. You can add pre-snap RPOs into any offense. So no matter what you're running, you can add pre-snap RPOs in. The only possible, I won't even say that there's potential in even like a double wing situation to add something in, but really you can add pre-snap RPOs into pretty much anything. If it looks good, particularly pre-snap pass options. If it looks good pre-snap, you take it. If they don't cover a guy, you throw it. And that's basically what we're talking about with pre-snap RPOs and pre-snap handling there. So a couple of things we talk about pre-snap RPOs, and this is going to be pretty brief. We're going to roll through this. The first one is just a straight-up look pass, or the uncovered pass, as a lot of guys think about throwing uncovered. And how we do that, we've got a section in the pistol pass. Here we go. Offensive crap. And all of a sudden, I'm going to want to throw 70% of the time. In the pistol power offense system, we've got a section on how we decide to throw uncovered. How you decide to throw uncovered, you've got to. It takes a lot of communication. I think with young kids, you probably want to have a signal from the sideline to let them know when it's time to throw uncovered. But when you got guys who are more experienced and kind of understand what's going on, they can make those decisions a little bit easier. But what we're talking about here is just, as you can see in this diagram, the weak safeties walk down real tight in the box. We've got a twin set, and they just got the slot uncovered. So in that situation, whether it's a signal, whether it's a look between the quarterback, whether it's a call from the sideline, whatever it is, you just throw that. You either communicate it with a signal, communicate with the coach, or rep it until everybody knows it's going to happen. That's a version of a pre-snap RPO. So maybe we've got an ISO called, or maybe we've got an inside zone called, but we're able to go ahead and throw this look pass pre-snap if it's there. Same deal on the outside if we've got an easy hitch. You really want to teach your guys as much as possible. Take a hitch. When a hitch is there, throw it. If you see a hitch, throw a hitch. With our quick game, which packages together, hitches, slants, and fades into one. All of our three steps are packaged together based on what the offense gives us. But the number one underlying rule is see a hitch, throw a hitch. Don't give up the hitch. And if you can throw a 5-yard hitch, take it. If that corner's 8 yards off and you can take the hitch right now, throw it. The thing about it is, and this is really important, I should have mentioned this with your RPOs in general. When we're talking about RPOs, the pass aspect of this is high percentage passing, high percentage completions, and a 4-yard gain is a great play. We are not we're trying to break these for 80, but we're not scheming these up so that we're going to get 80 yards on every pass. We're scheming these up so that the pass option is an extension of the run game. The pass option is essentially your pitch in traditional option football. Okay, so if we've got a easy hitch and we can take it, signal it, get a call into our quarterback, whatever we need to do, take that easy hitch. Don't give it up. Same thing with a pop pass. We see guys getting loaded up, and this is a 30 stack. Teams in a 30 stack will try to load up on that C gap. In fact, I was taking a look at some stuff this week with Pete Metasio, who did a web clinic for us, and he did a clinic this past weekend in Ocean City, and he was talking about some blitzes they do specifically aimed at stopping those power teams off tackle and getting guys up in there. If you've got backers walked up in there trying to stop your C gap run play, do you have a tight end pop pass available? If they're not covered down on that tight end, is that pop pass available to them? Can you just hit it? That's another thing that it's probably a game plan deal. It's not something that you're going to maybe have in every week. Just because of the defenses you're going to see, you're not going to probably give that to you every week. But if it's something that you know this team is going to give it to you, take advantage of it, make them back off. And certainly as much power as we run, that's something to look at. So those are some pre-snap options for RPOs. Post-snap RPO is option football. Okay, it's old school option football. It's not it's different, but it's not special. I talk to guys all the time about defense and how do we defend RPOs? What do we do with the RPOs? If you have a proper scheme for defending the option, a sound scheme, then you defend RPOs by defending the option. For our annual subscribers, if you're an annual subscriber, you've got access to the Defending the Option e-course, and maybe something I'll go in there and do is add in some RPO stuff. I believe we've got a little bit on the Zone Read bubble, but defending the RPO, defending any RPO is just option football. That's all it is. It's tough as hell, but defending the option is tough, and defending the option, whether they're going to pitch it or pass it, is hard. So when we're talking about RPOs here, and defending them, or when we're talking about RPOs and running them, it's option football. And again, that goes to not thinking of these passes as a way to gain 40 yards down the field. It's thinking of these passes as a way, the pass is a pitch. The pass is a way to get to the edge and get 4 yards. And if you can get more, but primarily we just want to get some yardage. These are really no different than any other option that you can get. Most teams are going to have a give read. Okay, you're going to have a give read on this, and not everybody does this. Some teams don't want to run their quarterback, and so they're going to cut these down to they're going to block they're not going to have an unblocked guy, and you can do this too. You're not going to have an unblocked guy. They're going to have a quarterback is going to read one guy, and he's going to read it for basically run or pass. You can do that too. That's not what we're going to talk about so much here. If you're going to do that, you want to bring an extra guy into the box. You want to, in anything that we're doing here, if you walk an extra guy into the box, bring your tight end or bring your H-back into the box and have him block the guy that you were going to read or that we draw up reading in these diagrams. Then all he has to do is read the pass defender, and you're good to go. We could draw some of those up if you don't want to run. If you don't have a running quarterback, you don't want to run your quarterback, but you want to use some RPOs, we can do that too. The key here is work off your best run plays. So don't go in there thinking that you're going to reinvent your playbook. If you had success, now if you had no success last year and your playbook was garbage and something you need to completely overhaul or it doesn't fit your kids now, fine. But for us, I want to use. Again, I'm in a new I'm in a new sandbox right now for me. I'm in a totally new sandbox being the offensive coordinator. It's a lot of fun, but I'm having to limit luckily I'm with a head coach who I'm friends with and who understands is a good football coach, understands what I want to do. I understand what he wants to do, and it works out really well, but it's a totally new sandbox and I want to do a ton of stuff. But ultimately I can promise you that everything that we're doing is still based off the Pistol Power system. So it's still off the Pistol Power offense system, everything that we're going to do. I love all this RPO stuff and I want to get it in there. And part of it is because where the school where I'm going to has a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, and not a ton of experienced linemen, very few experienced linemen right now. So that kind of fits with what we're trying to do, but it's still our base. It's still what we are and who we are and what I believe in. And it's luckily the head coach I'm going to, we learned it together. So RPOs aren't limited to one play. You can package your pass option with your best run play, your favorite run play. Always, everything in your playbook needs to develop off of your best run. It needs to develop off of what you do best in the run game. You don't need to go in and come up with a whole bunch of different stuff. And you can mix and match. So I'm going to go through in a minute here a lot of the different blocking schemes that you can use inside, and also, and again, talking more of a 10 personnel 2x2 or 3x1 set, but you can adapt all of these to 11 personnel. You can adapt them to 20 personnel, 21 personnel, whatever you want to adapt it to, that you can make these happen going forward. Bubble is the most common route option, but there's a lot more that you can do. I still think bubble is probably the best route option for your RPOs and the base route option for most of us. But if teams aren't going to give you the bubble, or they're going to specifically take away the bubble, or they're going to give you something else easier than the bubble, there are options to take it. We always want to have the ability to take that. As we go into starting to diagram some of these, I want you to understand that, in my opinion, pistol and gun have a clear advantage in RPOs, and I don't think there's any question about that. Maybe under center has more of an advantage in the run game specifically, or it's just who you are and what you do, and that's okay. You're going to give up a little bit in the quarterback's ability to read post-snap RPOs. Not so much pre-snap RPOs. You can still use your look passes. You can still use your pop passes, no problem. That's why I drew all those up under center and I formation. You can do them out of anything, but I drew them up out of 21 personnel earlier. We're going to work from pistol. I prefer pistol. I don't like gun, to be honest with you. I say that I don't hate gun, but I want to hit downhill, and I want to hit downhill fast. And in order to do that, we need to be in pistol. But I still want to have the quarterback vision. So if I was going to run the ball 90% of the time, I'd be under center. If I want to have the balance that we need to have, we're going to be in a pistol. And I think it gives the quarterback vision to do these things. The quarterback, another thing from under center is, if you're going to use a lot of these, quarterback has to get out from under center before he can see anything, and then you've got linemen downfield. I'll talk more about that later, but just something to consider. We can catch the snap and throw when we see things here. Catch the snap, ride, and throw. Mainly, though, I just like the vision better. I think you need to give your quarterback clear guidelines, okay? Give your quarterback clear guidelines, coach him up, and then cut him loose, okay? This is the hardest thing for coaches to do, and if you're not somebody who wants to give up control, then it's not going to be good for you. It's not something that I've ever been used to, and it's something that will be a learning curve for me as well. But your quarterback is only going to be as good as you make him, and I know that from being in situations where our quarterbacks were given some autonomy, and being in situations where they both succeeded and failed, that the quarterbacks who were given some autonomy and really coached up and knew what to do, understood what to do, they had success. And the ones who didn't get coached up right, or the ones who did not quite grasp it, they didn't have success. So you've got to be able to evaluate your ability as a coach. You got to be able to evaluate your quarterback's ability as a learner, as a decision maker. All of those things will go into how you do this, but you need to give specific guidelines for your guys. And then once you give him specific guidelines, let go and let him make decisions. I think this is a mistake that we've made in the past. So a lot of the stuff I'm telling you here is things that I'm looking at doing, and learning from things that we've tried in the past, but also looking at what I want to do going forward, and then speaking to a lot of different coaches and trying to learn some of this stuff. And studying a lot of stuff. Like I said, this is more of an idea session than a here's what I've done. So I don't have a 20-minute speech about all the scores that we've had in this. I don't even have a highlight video that's of my own team. When we do these private insider sessions, it's an idea gig as much as anything else for you guys. I think your quarterback needs to have black and white reads. And talking to some coaches this past weekend, especially, black and white reads, really important. If there's a gray area, it's up to him. He needs to make the decision. But most of his decisions, when you're coaching him about how to make those decisions, they need to be black and white. They need to be clear. They need to be, don't try to confuse him. Don't think that you need to prepare him for every situation and say, well, what if he's here? What if he's here? In talking about, for example, the run pass read on a quarterback, have the guy attack the running back or attack the quarterback. Everything else is a gray area decision, and you've got to let him make those decisions. and whatever decision he makes is the right decision at that time. You weren't in that situation. Nobody else is in that situation. He was in that situation. If he sucks at making those decisions, you either need to change what you're doing, or, and you could talk to him. Doesn't mean you can't talk to him afterwards and say, hey, you saw this. Hey, you made a decision, and that's what matters. And then ask him what he thinks about that decision. Ask him if maybe that decision could have been done differently. But the most important thing is your quarterback makes a decision. I think you coach your quarterback and drill your quarterback on the perfect read. You coach your quarterback and drill your quarterback on exactly what it's supposed to look like. And you don't spend a bunch of time drilling every situation, cloudy reads, and all kinds of stuff. If you need to make some differences for things like gap exchanges, where we do with our 4-3 defense, crashing the guy down and looping the linebacker and those kinds of things, you make those adjustments. But in general, let him make the decisions on gray areas and then live with it. Again, you've got to just kind of be hands off. He'll get experience. He's not going to be perfect day one. If any of you have ever installed an option, either with a new quarterback or just decided to run option, first of all, if you don't commit to it, it looks like garbage unless you're playing a team that sucks. And second of all, the first week, just like zone is the same deal. The first week, the first 2 weeks, the first 6 weeks, it's not going to look great. It's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look like what you want it to look like or what you saw in the video. Hey, trust your quarterback. Let him make decisions, or don't run RPOs. I think it's good to give your quarterback a few basic rules. One that's probably a good thing to decide is if he gets a 5-man box, whether it's a 3-2 or a 4-1, and looking at this is a 3-2 box, and they've committed themselves to covering the slots. Obviously, he needs to know the situation. If it's 3rd and 40, then it's not the case. But if you line up and it's 1st and 10, and they give you a 5-man box because they're committed to taking away the bubble, you've got 6 on 5. You've got to run the ball. So things like that, I think, are clear rules. It's a hard and fast rule for your quarterback. I say hard and fast. He's got to know situation, but you should win this every single time. You should get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards on this every single time. So these are things when you're talking to your quarterback that you give him some clear rules, some clear vision as to what he's trying to do in any situation. And again, you're going to coach your quarterback on all kinds of situations. But when I talk about, cutting down the gray areas, I'd kind of tell him, look, unless it's 3rd and 15, let's take our chances on this 5-man box, right? 15 is just a number. Maybe it's 12. Maybe it's 10. Maybe your running back has slow as dirt, and you're going to get 6 at best before the safety gets there. But give your quarterback some autonomy, some clear rules before you just cut him loose with the ability to make any decision he wants. What you don't want to happen is they give you a 5-man box on 3rd and 4, and he thinks the bubble's there. So you want to make these things clear to him. Some blocking schemes. Again, I think you package your best blocking schemes together with your favorite pass options off of it, and then I'll show you some here. Okay, blocking schemes that we'll look at, and then we'll look at the pass options that we can use. I'll just talk about a few of them. I'm not going to go over every single one. These are just ideas. There's things that you may already be doing, or things you may want to package in. Don't go overboard. Again, I still think max 3 base run plays. You can make base run plays means, and really 2 is probably, you had a zone and a man scheme. You don't need a whole lot more than that, but a zone and a man scheme, a zone and a zone and a gap scheme. Sorry, a zone and a gap scheme, and you got 1, 2, maybe 3 base run schemes, and you've got a couple twists off of each one. That's enough for your offense. Whatever you do best in your blocking scheme, you can RPO off of it. And again, it's easier from the pistol or the gun to see and to have vision. You don't have to, but it's much easier. Inside zone, our zone play, stretch, or the outside zone, blocking scheme you want to use. Power, 2 types of power here. One where we're going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage, and one where we're going to read a backside linebacker. And both of those, so it's basically a 1-back power or a 2-back power reading the end man. We can do both of those. GT counter or counter tray, we're pulling both tackle and guard, kick out and wrap. We're going to be able to read the backside end on those. You could do it differently, but I would read the backside. Primarily I'm thinking reading the backside end on that. You could potentially read the backside linebacker too. So you could block out with your center in some situations, but I think you're probably better off reading that backside end. Otherwise, you really need to bring in a tight end or an H-back to handle that. Passing concepts. So we talk zone, stretch, and then a couple different schemes of power and counter. I don't know where counter. Oh yeah, we did counter. Okay. Bubble is not the only. It's not the all being. It's not the only way to do it. But bubble is still probably your most common route concept that you're going to package with RPOs. So, the bubble is pretty much what we're going to be looking at primarily. We'll talk about a lot of different variations, and there's a ton of different things you can do as we go through this, but we can package different route concepts. The important thing is that within your route concepts, you have consistent rules for your receivers. Don't give your receivers a million different things to think about. It may seem easy to you, but you're a football coach. They're a kid. As much as we want them to love football, we want them to believe in this thing. Most of your high school players and middle school players and youth players are going home and they're not thinking about football that much. Okay. This is what they do. They still do other things for fun. For you and I, a lot of what we do for fun is look at this stuff. So, we're not like our kids. So keep that in mind. Give them consistent rules. Even if you make it consistent, bubble every single time, you may play action something every game or play action something, adjust something every game, give them just a different look, something else to do. Stick, just a stick where they're turning and finding the open space. That's going to be your number 2 receivers and number 3 receivers. I like stick. Looked at some 3x1 concepts with stick, which is pretty cool. Alley, that's your number 1 receiver running that kind of alley screen look, or the tunnel screen where he's coming, taking a step up field and coming back inside. And then your number 2 is blocking most dangerous man. I'll draw some of these up as well, but just these are the different concepts that you can use. Alley, slant. The thing I know about slant, and I've heard it before, and then our head coach, who was a quarterback in high school, when we were talking about this and I was talking about what we wanted to package together, I really like slant, and he's talking about it, and he's basically saying it's a really hard throw for a quarterback to throw when he's moving or when he's coming out of a read. So just something to consider. I don't know that. He wasn't the only one. Other people have told me that. Other quarterbacks have told me that. Our quarterbacks have shown that slant's kind of a tough throw to make, especially if you're on the move. So just something to think about. It looks really good on paper. See how well your quarterbacks throw it. And of course, hitch. Hitch is, something to throw too. Pop. We talked about tight end pop or mini curl, where you just come in and especially replacing a linebacker. If you're going to read a linebacker, you can run a guy in behind him to replace him where he's coming from. We'll show a little bit of that. Speed out, which is, again, a hard throw for the quarterback. But if you're kicking a throw a speed out, that could be a really long throw, unless it's to the short side of the field. If you want to speed out is a 5-yard out. Or you just run a quick arrow. That's fine. But talking about the number 1 receiver running a speed out is tough. Or even the number 2 receiver from a wide split running a speed out. It's a long throw for the quarterback, but if you can do it, do it. The key is we want to use short route concepts. You know that there's an issue with linemen getting downfield. Whatever your situation, whatever your rules are, you need to use short route concepts. So you're not going to couple these with your post wheel. Your routes don't have a long time to develop because you need to get the ball out before your linemen get 3 yards downfield. Or whatever some guys have a 1 yard rule, 1 yard downfield. Most of us have a 3 yard downfield rule. So whatever your association rule is, but 3 yards is a long way to go if he's going to catch, ride, and throw. So, you can pretty much, if you're using short route concepts, you can get the ball out. There are some ways to take advantage a little bit further down the field, but your quarterback really just has to know that he cannot hold the football. He can't sit there and hold the football and make reads and go to a second read. There is no second. I mean, the second read is the pass, right? We're looking run, pass. So third read, I guess. And a lot of that's going to be pre-snap determined. So the quarterback can't hold the ball. He makes a decision. He lives with it, and you live with it. Remember, as the coach, in a system like this, as the coach, you've got to accept that your kids are going to make some great decisions, and they're going to make you look like a genius, and they're going to make some terrible decisions. And when they make a great decision, everybody will talk about what a smart quarterback they are and what a great decision that was and how athletic your kids are. And when he makes a terrible decision, they'll talk about what a piss poor coach you are. That's the way coaching works. That's the way it should work. That's absolutely the way it should work. And you just have to have a little thick skin and be aware of it. Have a little patience. Know that it's going to take some time to get perfect at it. You can't get caught up in gray areas. You can't make your kid sit out there and think, is it this or is it that? He looks at it, it's one thing or the other, and he makes a decision. You've got to rep them, so you can't have a million different concepts. And again, most guys are packaging this with tempo. Most guys are packaging this with hurry up, so you're going to cut down even more on your concepts. So if you're somebody who has 38 plays and 38 different pages in the playbook of run plays, this isn't for you. It's not a good idea anyway, but be consistent, keep your reads consistent, keep the plays consistent. Don't get your quarterback real messed up. And the other thing about lineman downfield is it rarely gets called. Anything that's ticky-tack is probably not going to get called. The truth is, if your linemen are getting into double teams on zone concepts, or they're pulling on a power, they're probably not getting there before the ball is thrown. If they are, your quarterback's holding it too long. Stretch is the one thing. We don't double on stretch. So stretch is the one thing where we may have some issue, but if they're taking initial flat steps to make sure they reach a linebacker, they should be held long enough and haven't looked at enough RPOs over the last month to have a good idea of what you're able to do. You shouldn't have a problem unless your guard goes and runs a route. If your guard releases into a deep out, then you've got a problem. I've had guards run a dig, and that gets called. But as long as he's not flying down the field on the snap, you're rarely going to have a problem with linemen getting downfield. As a defensive coach, it sucks. You hate it. As a linebacker coach, you don't know what to tell your guys because you tell them, this is low hat, this is a run. And ball down. This is that's why we coach our safeties to keep ball down, ball up. That's our run pass key, because they're getting a lot of this stuff. But it rarely gets called unless your guard goes out there and runs a route. So just something to keep in mind on that. All right. Again, if you have questions, you can post them in the question box there. And I'm just going to use a little playmaker tonight. All right. So first thing we're looking at here. Okay, we're looking at by the way, playmaker, I had to get Wine for those of you that know Linux and Mac and all that sort of stuff. Wine is basically a Windows emulator type of thing, so that I could run Playmaker, because I have the Windows Playmaker and I'm not going to buy the Mac version. If you don't have a special announcement, if you don't have a Playmaker program that you're really satisfied with, don't go buy one right now. Just hold tight. I've got something might be coming for you. So I hope in the coming weeks or months we'll have something that'll be available. Terrence asked, do you prefer pre or post read RPOs? Combination of the two. I mean, we're going to talk mostly post. We're talking mostly post snap RPOs right now. Okay, as we go into from here on out, we're talking post snap RPOs. However, your pre snap RPOs, I think you need to be able to take them when they're there. I don't know that necessarily I'm going to give a kid, especially a young kid, the authority to throw a hitch, but uncovered. I want to be able to at least either me make that call or him make that call once he's learned, once the receivers learn, once we've got some communication, especially with experienced kids. I think you need to have a little bit of both, be able to see a situation is there and throw it. So like in this situation, no matter what we had called, I'll talk about this. Here we've got a zone. Okay, this is just a zone right. All right, a zone right. Out of pistol. The run, the give keep read is the what should be the end. For some reason, years ago with my Playmaker, I labeled that guy incorrectly, and I've never fixed it. So he always comes out labeled as a tackle. So, our give read is the defensive end. If that defensive end decides to come down, okay, bend down the line of scrimmage to tackle the run, then the quarterback keeps. All right. From there, if that weak safety runs to the bubble, then the quarterback continues to keep. If that weak safety attacks the quarterback, now he has the bubble. Now, pre-snap, I may know pre-snap, if I look out here and see that these guys are squeezed down on me, I may know right now I'm not gonna. You really can't run zone read, basic zone read against two outside. Okay, so if they give me this defensive end and this weak safety sitting right here, I know pre-snap. Even though we're calling this a post-snap RPO, I know pre-snap. I'm throwing this bubble, and I don't need to wait on it. Okay, I don't need to wait. I don't need to think about it. I don't even really have to get into the ride. I really don't have to do any of that. I'm throwing this bubble. Okay, or at least I don't have to ride very long. I can just give a little flash, let the running back, as soon as the running back gets clear, bang that. Okay, same thing to the other side. Pre-snap, I want to be able to control both overhangs. Okay, because if this guy starts getting nosy in here, he'd give you a lot of problems. If you get this and you're not going to look over here, you're not going to look at that. You're not going to look at the bubble. Okay, if you're not going to look at that, then this guy's sitting here. I want to be able to pull it pre-snap and throw the bubble, because if I don't, now I've got a 7-man box. Okay, a 7-man box is a problem. It's hard to run against. That guy's going to be screaming in there. He's going to give me some problems. Okay, he's going to take away my run, even if it looks like it's there. So pre-snap, I can go out here and read this. Okay, pre-snap, I can go out here and read. If I read pre-snap, even though this isn't the post-snap read, I can handle this pre-snap if I see it's available. Post-snap, I'm not going to look over here. There is no second read on the pass game in post-snap. Okay. All right. So we got zone read. This is just straight zone read bubble. Okay. I don't know what triple zone is, Terrence. I guess, is that the Mazzoni stuff? It probably is. I mean, he does RPO. He does a lot of RPOs. And that's the end zone stuff. But all this is, and again, I stress this to everybody who will listen to me, and not everybody does. This is no different. This is absolutely no different than zone read option. It's no different than zone read option. I'm just getting the guy out here. Okay, yeah, it's the exact same thing. That's why I stress this is not a new offense. All it is putting different guys, getting the ball out faster. All it is a different way to run triple option. 100%. Okay. Doing the same thing now. Okay. Doing the same thing now off of this is off of one back power. Okay. Controlling a different player. This guy. Okay. Controlling a different player. And you want to be able to read the dude. Okay. If this defensive end sucks, why am I going to read him? My tackle can blow him out, block him out of there. Okay. Now, you may not have this blocking scheme in there. You don't necessarily have to have this blocking scheme in there. I'm just trying to show some different ones. You could do the exact same thing here. And again, this is more of a zone talk, or a blocking scheme talk, but I could read that guy too, just like that. Okay. Out of my zone scheme. Okay. But here we are with the puller. Maybe I'm thinking I'm going to pull this guy. All right. He sees the puller go. He takes off. Quarterback can pull it. All right. This is more of a pre-snap deal, but if this guy's tucked in here, all right, now I'm going to throw the bubble. I might throw that anyway. Okay. Or if this guy's coming hard, as soon as he sees the zone action, he's coming up there, quarterback can throw the bubble. All right. Different things that we can do, different ways to make it happen. Again, we're coupling the zone read bubble, or coupling the bubble action on the outside with a different concept. Okay. So now you've got like a power bubble. Okay. Now we're reading the backer. Just different ways to basically run the same play. Different ways to run the same play and to read a different guy now. Okay. All right. This is our power read, not the jet power read or the sweep power read with the quarterback's running straight ahead. You can work off of that too. Absolutely. But this is the power read that we teach in the pistol power offense system. Okay. We're running our basic power blocking. Again, What do I like to do? I like to run power. Okay, who are we? Who am I? What do I believe in as a coach? Power. Okay, can I couple it with some different things? Absolutely. I can still use it. It's still part of my base offense. You guys that are into the pistol power offense system, notice we're using 2 of our base blocking schemes in this. And here we are against a 4-2-5. We'll drop some different stuff in a minute. All right, so we've got 2 things. Number 1, pre-snap read. Okay, pre-snap out here. And anytime I want this guy, there's no reason for him to base block this. There's no reason for him to go and block this guy. And there's no reason for him to just run him off. So there's no reason for my X to block the corner. I could try to come down here and get there's basically 2 things that I would have him do. One is I might have him, that kind of stovepipe block, that touchdown block on the free safety. That might be worth having him do. But in the context of what we're talking about here, again, you can teach him to look at what he's got. Not much purpose in a fade, so if he's pressed, he can run a fade and run that guy off. And maybe you take a shot at it on a now fade ball, but if he really likes that matchup. But if this corner wants to play him 8 yards off, bang the hitch. And remember, see a hitch, throw a hitch. So he may never get into this. He may not open up this way. He just may open up and bang the hitch right now. Okay. Not ever get into any mesh. All this stuff is happening over here. All these guys are doing what they do. Pre-snap read, though, if he looks out here and sees that this guy is giving him the hitch, he'll take it. Or if you were to look out here and for some unknown reason, that corner was playing outside leverage, playing like a cover 2, and this weak safety was tucked in real tight, especially if they were on a wide side or something like that, maybe bangs a slant right now. Okay? Take it. If it's there, take it. That's communication that you can use for your guys to give you some pre-snap reads. Okay? On the far side, or on the play side, okay, quarterback takes a snap. Let's assume he doesn't have a post-snap read, or pre-snap read that he likes over here. Okay? And he banged that a couple times. You want to get the weak safety getting back out of the way here. Okay, make him, if that weak safety in 3-by-1 wants to get up here, or whoever it is, if he wants to get in tight or he wants to go play over the top, you'll get teams that do this. Okay, you need to have something to make him come back here. Okay, do something to make him give some attention over there. And if this guy wants to lock you down and press you, then you've got to at some point beat him. You got to win something. Okay. All right. So we're on power read here. Same read. Again, quarterback's not changing anything. Defensive end. All right. Is the read. If that defensive end comes down hard, he always comes down hard and kills your running back. All right. Then quarterback pulls and replaces. If that strong safety comes in, and really he's in a no-win situation here. That's why they're going to have to get somebody else down there. All right. And that's going to open up some things on the backside. If that strong safety squeezes into the quarterback, then he's pretty much got his pick of stick routes out here. Okay. These are stick routes, not hitches. Stick route, just find a window. Okay. Just find a window. Run to open space. All right. If he favors the inside one, quarterback could throw the outside one. Let's say that they loop the backer. Quarterback could throw the outside one. If he sits outside, quarterback can throw the inside one. Hopefully I don't mess these up too much, and I can maybe put the PowerPoint up there. Let's put this guy back here. Come on back, buddy. All right. That's a stick. You can block on the edge. You don't have to block. I mean, there's no reason to block on the edge. Just, get that guy out of here. Run him off. You could also, just run him off. I guess you could hitch him too, but run him off. 5-man box here. Okay. Again, 5-man box. What are we going to do? Here we're running against a 3-4 scheme. 5-man box, too high. What do we do? If this guy comes in here, I could throw my hitch. Okay. That would not be a 5-man box anymore. But if he's going to stay out there and you've got him under control with the hitch route, they want to play too high on you, know the situation. Obviously, you've got to know the situation. But if they give you that 5-man box, take the run. Okay, take the run. This is the only way that you can get control of all of these route possibilities, okay, is to get into a 5-man box. The only other option you have is to get into a cover 0, and at that point, you've got to win. You've got to win a battle at some point. You've got to win a 1-on-1, and you've got to prove to them. Once you prove to them you can win that, then you can start doing some stuff. You can add in. I'll just mention this: if you start getting cover 0, you can add in some quick rubs. And now that I'm on the other side of the ball, a whole new world has opened up to me. They're called rub routes. You defensive guys think they're picks. Okay, it's a rub route. It's just perfectly legal. Nothing wrong with it. This is the alley. Okay, here we are against a 3-3 stack. Okay, maybe you like the alley. Maybe you don't want to get in too close to the stack backers. Okay, or maybe it's just the way that they're playing it. They're playing this guy way off. Okay, he's playing off. He's giving you room. And they've got that strong safety up there. Okay, maybe you don't like the bubble because that guy's too tight to him. But you can run the alley where it's hard for this guy to get back in there. Okay, one step, come back to the quarterback. Show him your numbers. Okay, one step, come back to the quarterback. Show him your numbers. All right. And again, it's the same deal. This is just a zone read. Zone read against the 30 stack. You want to work for the B gap defender. His job is B gap defender. So he's going to step looking for that guy to come inside. If that guy doesn't come inside, I climb to backer. Okay, if he doesn't come inside, I climb to backer. And on this one, we read the corner. Okay. We read the corner. If the corner wants to play off, then you're going to work off of him. Okay, that's your alley. Bubble on the backside. We still got a bubble on the backside so that if that bubble's there, if that weak safety's not respecting it, okay, they're playing more of a 5-3. All right, they're not going to respect that bubble. Pre-snap, you can throw that bubble. Okay, this is your mini curl or your pop or your hunt or whatever you want to call it. Looking to replace. In this case, we're replacing the. You could do this with the inside guy too. I have a pop in here. I'm about to pop. I can do it with the inside guy too. This isn't a good example. Probably a 4-3 would be a better way to look at it. But let's say that this guy was just hammering us, flying, and he's getting involved in our zone action. Okay, I can just look to replace him if he was a problem. But let's keep our bubble backside. Okay. If the strong safety is jumping your bubble route, okay, and when we're not, when we're running our bubble, you know, the rule for that number 1 receiver is to block most dangerous man. So if this guy's 9 yards off and this guy's sitting up on him, most dangerous man is right there. Okay. That's your most dangerous man. So let's say that our strong safety is jumping the bubble now. We've hit it a couple times. He is screaming to the bubble. Okay. He is absolutely screaming up on the bubble. He is not giving any thought to what we're trying to do. We will run and replace where he was at. Okay. Replace where he was at. Quarterback has the ability to just put the ball in. Okay. I could have sworn that my pen was dashed. Okay. Quarterback can just throw. We'll replace that strong safety. throw it where he left. So you're decoying the bubble because that strong safety is getting really aggressive on it. Quarterback, again, pre-snap, maybe he really likes it, if that guy's really overplaying it, but most likely, and maybe you've got that strong safety just up on it, and it's going to be there pre-snap. But more likely, you're going to still read your end man, okay? You read your end man. Your end man gives you a keep read. He crashes down. Now that read heads out. Go ahead and take it. Okay, the grass is there. Take it. So if you've got the grass, don't hesitate. Throw it. All right. Get my line back in here. I want to be able to just take this and publish it when we publish the web clinic. So. Okay. This one is another option. This is a bubble go, okay, or a stalk and go. You could run. I've seen this. I'm not convinced of it, but whatever. I mean, there's no reason not to. I'll just show it real quick. If he fakes the bubble, now it works. Now I've got the dash line as soon as I didn't want it. Okay. If he fakes the bubble, I've seen this too as a bubble and go, where he fakes the bubble for a couple steps and then takes off. All right, trying to see if there's a deep option there. I don't know how you can – guys do it, so I'm not going to say you're not going to be able to, but that seems like a lot going on to me. It also pisses me off because as a defensive coach, I've always told my guys nobody other than in 7-on-7 ever runs a bubble, ever goes negative into the backfield and then goes down the field. So you can jump those if it's your job. If you're in man coverage, you can jump them. So, yeah, it's just something. Terrence asks, is always 2 reads. Again, I talked about that at the beginning. It doesn't have to be. There's no I'm giving options and ideas here. This is more of an idea session than a here's how to do it session. So Terrence, if you don't want some guys don't want their quarterback or can't afford their quarterback to be going out there and running the ball. In that case, no. So like I said, let's say I want to take this play and I'm not going to have the quarterback option here. Okay. I'm not going to have give the quarterback the option to run the ball. In that case, I'm going to need to get an extra guy in here, okay, to get my blocking situation better. All right. And then my read can still be the same. As I get into my ride, I'm just going to read that guy. If it's there, I'll pull it and throw it. Okay. If it's there, I'll pull it and throw it. So no, you do not have to have. You do not have to have 2 reads on it. Okay. You do not have to have 2 reads. Of course, if you don't have a second read out here, then you're just running a double option. So you run basic zone read or whatever. This is a bubble go, okay, or bubble go, bubble stalk and go, whatever you want to call it. Basically, when the corner, and again, you just want different ways to control different guys. Different guys are giving you problems. You find different ways to control them. All right, find different ways to make them wrong. So when this corner starts to be the one to take away my bubble because I'm trying to throw the bubble. It's there. The strong safety's coming up, but this corner is just ripping the face of my Y, okay, or my X or whoever my number 1 blocker is. He's just, as soon as he sees that bubble, he's ripping through the face, and he is killing it because as soon as we show any sort of bubble look, he is screaming up, okay? I'm going to have the guy that's normally responsible for blocking him come off just like he would for the stalk, just like he has been every time that we ran bubble. And when you're doing this stuff, you want to, every time that you run inside zone, you want to have this package. It doesn't have to be every time, but you want to do it a lot. This is not a once a game or 3 times a game type of deal. This is a 10 times or more type of thing a game. I've got to get things happening out there to make them respect it. They're not going to respect it initially. They're just going to play your inside zone. Okay, so if that corner is the one that's giving you problems, then he comes off, gives a couple stutter steps like he's going to block, bang, bust it past that guy. Now, where does it have to be thrown? Now we have the issue. If he throws this ball, if he waits for this guy to clear it and get 22 yards down the field, we're going to have linemen downfield, okay? That's when it will get called. However, if he throws this ball basically in the bucket like you throw a wheel route, okay? Guys that work wheel routes, as soon as that guy turns up the field, that wheel route is in a hole, right? It's in a hole right here. So when he throws this ball, he's probably looking to hit this ball 8-10 yards down the field, not 40 yards down the field. He wants to hit it 8 or 10 yards down the field. He wants to drop it right basically where that corner was, where that corner left, and he wants to hit this guy as soon as he comes out of his stutter, as soon as he passes that corner, okay? So as soon as it's there, hit it now, okay? Ideally, he is a kid who has the ability to see that if for some reason the corner decides this time to go and play it, that he can still throw the bubble. All right. He could still throw the bubble if for some reason the corner suddenly decides to stop what you're doing. However, I think we're mostly talking about, this is a call that you make when you think it's going to be there, and you tell your quarterback, look, when we tag this, and we're just tagging these, okay? So maybe every time that you run zone read, you've got a bubble on the outside, okay? However you want to do it. But let's just give an example. Every time that you run zone read, you've got a bubble on the outside. Okay, so maybe you just tag this with a signal, with however you want to do it, with a signal, with a letter, with a number, with a word. It's on a wristband. You just tag it on there. Zone read go, or zone read. If it's a trick play for that week, give it that name. Okay, it's just something else to do to make these guys respect what you're doing and cause them more problems. As soon as you hit that, now the corner goes back to playing the deep route, the strong safety gets back out here. And ultimately what we want to do, okay, and basically done here, and if you have questions, you can put them in the question box. Ultimately what you want to do is force them to defend. I don't want the bubble to be there, if that makes sense. I don't want the bubble to be there. I want to run against a 6-man box. I want to run against a 5-man box. Okay, but it's probably not going to give you that. I want to run the ball against a 6-man box. I want you to defend the bubble. I want you to defend the bubble go. I want to make you get out here, because we're not a passing team. I don't care who it is. It's high school football. We're almost all, okay, middle school, high school, youth, most semi-pro teams, the vast majority of college teams. We are running teams. So I don't want the bubble to be there. What I want to use this for is not because I want to score. Change your mindset on the passing plays here, okay? My goal is not for this stalk and go to go for a touchdown. If it does, it does. My goal is to make your corner stay back and respect that, and your safety or your flat player to widen out and respect the bubble so that I can run the ball in here. That's all I'm trying to do. I want to run the ball in here, okay? If I line up, same thing we talked about, if you don't want one read, okay? I want to run the ball in here. I want to run inside zone. I don't want to run bubbles all day. I want to run inside zone. All right, guys, if you have questions, put them in the question box. We'll get this recording up there. Again, a couple things I want to encourage you. If you have some RPOs that you love, go and post it in the forum. Start a topic, you can start a topic in the forum, create a new topic. Just go into the general offense, our offense discussion forum there, and I don't care where you post it. I'll move it to the right place. It's not a big deal. But in general, new topics need to be posted in the offense discussion section. And post it in there. Post what you've got. If you're not sure how to get a image, post it on there. You can just set it as an attachment. But if you're not sure, let me know, or just ask, and we'll make sure we get taken care of. But contribute there. If you have questions on how to incorporate these things into your offense, then post a new topic there. I'll hang out for a few minutes if you have any questions, but otherwise, the only thing I'll remind you is that if you got your weight room going, you need a little help in the weight room, the JDFB weight room is available to you. Go into the general discussion forum, and there's a yellow sticky that says add JDFB weight room. It's $20 a month. Do all your programming for you, instruction, help your coaches get in the weight room, take care of it. I'm running our weight room from a distance. The guys that are in there doing a great job, but they're doing, they're doing a lot of what I would be doing. They're basically doing what I would be doing because they're running the stuff we have posted there. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight, and I'll be hanging out in the chat room for a little bit. Terrence, yeah, we're not. This is a run play, okay? RPOs. This is not about the big play. Okay, we are a 4-yard gain is a great gain. This is the biggest problem with the bubble. And I'll talk about the bubble. Where the bubble works. Where'd my H-back go? Where the bubble works is where the bubble guy catches it wide. And I heard a really good rule this weekend, okay, that I'm definitely going to use. Where this guy catches the ball, daggone dash lines. This guy catches the ball wide, and the rule was that he catches the ball on the numbers, okay? He catches the ball he's got to get to the numbers to catch this thing. This is a rule that I heard. No matter where he is, what he does, where he goes, this bubble guy has to be on the numbers when he catches it. And when he catches it, he busts it to the sidelines as fast as he can. Now, does he break some of them? Absolutely. But the goal is to get 4 yards, stay away from the bad guys. They're all in here, okay? Outrun these guys for 4 yards to the sidelines, all right? It is nothing but an extension of your run game. Do you hit big plays? Sure. But I'm not using the bubble or anything else, the stick, the slant, any of those. I'm not using those because I want those to be the big play. I'm using it because if I get a 6-man box or a 5-man box, I can get big run game. Okay. Yeah, Kyoki says it's a good way to widen the OOBs to create a better running box. Absolutely. That's what it's all about here. That's what we want to do. Get these guys out of there so that we can run the ball. We are still a running team. If you've got a 6'5" laser rocket arm, Peyton Manning, I don't know that RPOs are the way you go. I mean, they could be a piece of what you do, but what I'm looking at is I got a kid that's athletic, can make some decisions, and can throw a bubble. Can he throw a bubble? Great. We're good to go. Can he throw a short stick? Great. Perfect. Let's go. I want to run the ball. Tom, for No Huddle, how do you guys communicate? We've always been wristband, and we've been able to go very fast with that. I think that we're working on some of our communication right now. We will still be wristband based because that's what I like. And Keith Hutchell did I don't know if Keith's here tonight, did a great wristband for us that's in the Pistol Power offense. You guys that haven't looked at it, inside the Pistol Power offense system, it's in the Pistol Power. It's either in the Pistol Power offense system or in the Hurry Up No Huddle system. I can't remember right now. Somebody help me out if you know. There's a wristband that Keith put together for a wristband program where every single kid has what they do. So there's no thinking. They just look at it and says, wrap to backer. That's where I'm headed with our stuff. I'm going to use some of the color number just to make it a little harder for other teams to pick up on. We will also be using some signals though. But Tom, the boards, forgive me if you guys do it, and if you guys do it, let me just say this because I don't get it. I'm going to be at a school with like 500 kids and 5 coaches. So there's nobody doing, not 500 kids on the team. So there's nobody going to be holding up boards or making boards. So it'll be a combination of wristbands, signals, and verbal cues. I think you need a combination of those. RPO is trying to put run pass players in a bind. That's a big part of it. Yeah, William. William says still trying to figure out the RPO stuff. The RPO is trying to put the run pass player in a bind. Yeah, that's ultimately what you're trying to do. Is you're trying to give the guy, give somebody problems. Give the guy who's giving you problems. Justin asked about putting the Mike backer in a run pass bind. You know, my only thing about that is if anybody has something, please post it in the forum. I would love to see it. Post it if you have a run pass option to put the Mike backer in a bind. I can come up with different ways. The first thing I'll say is the Mike backer. That's like, to me, that's like saying how we're going to put the nose in a run pass bind, because my Mike backer is always playing the run. You're not putting him in a bind. You could drop the ball over his head 36,000 times, and somebody else is getting yelled at for it. Okay, I'm never going to tell my Mike backer to back off. However, I can read him for the run. You know, I can read him for the run. If you're looking at I don't know, Justin, if you're looking at a stack or a 4-3 with a Mike backer, I'm thinking middle guy. But if you've got one particular in mind. Seriously, one time I put that defensive end in as a tackle. Ruined for life. You know, you would really have to, against a 4-3, I mean, he's a defensive lineman. You would really have to probably be working with a tight end. You could maybe pop pass him. But yeah, I don't have, you know. Weak side backer in a 4-2-5, we would stick that. Okay. That's much easier. Okay, in that case, stick that guy. That would be one. I would like that more. We mentioned it earlier. I would like that. You know, we've got a Y in there, but just for fun, we'll keep the Y in there. I would do that and see if this cat will come with him. Yeah, exactly what William said. Pull that guard. For your read. And if that will linebacker wants to get involved and play in the run, which he probably does, you just stick that guy or mini curl him right in behind him. That's what I do with that one. You could do it on zone too. All you do, which we kind of talked about this earlier, all I would do is turn them out on zone. But the pull of the guard, tell you where you might like that is, I'm just thinking here, you might like that too on the teams that want to gap exchange it. Every time I say that now, I think about Kirk Cousins. Let's get this Y out of here. This is 1956. We're not using tight ends. If that team wants to gap exchange this, where the end's going to crash, and I know the end's going to crash, when you face a team that's really, really good, you know that the end, as soon as they see option look, you know that the end is going to crash, and this guy's going to come to gap exchange. It'd be a great place to use it too. Excellent. Thank you, Kyoki. Appreciate it. I definitely want to see that. Yeah, that gap, if they're going to gap exchange it and that will backer is going to come hard, that's one that you could use. I mean, if you really wanted to piss people off, we're just having fun now. I guess this is what people do this is what I do for fun anyway. Now you put him in a bind. That way you control your weak safety so that he doesn't get inside of you on the stick. Again, there's not a right way and a wrong way. I'm not sitting there presenting a playbook. I'm presenting ideas to you, and I ask you guys to do the same. If you guys have ideas, like Kyoki said, put it in the forum. I want to see it. I want to, let's talk about it. Let's look at some things. I'm going to roll out of here, guys. If you have questions, post them in the discussion board. Post them in the discussion forum. Offense, defense, special teams, or general discussion if it's just coaching stuff. The one thing I want to say is there's a topic in there, and I sent it out in the email this week about advice for first-year coordinator. And I can't remember who posted it off the top of my head right now. But if you are a coordinator or a head coach and you've got some advice that you can throw for guys, tomorrow I'm going to record a podcast, and that's going to be my topic, is advice for first-year coordinators. So if you have some advice for first-year coordinators that you want to post in that discussion, then please just go on, log into the JDFB Insider. It's in the defense section, I believe. But I sent an email out earlier this week with a link to it. It's just it's probably on the right-hand side because there's been a few guys posting in it. It's in the right-hand side column where it's got the most popular discussions too. You'll be able to see it there. And it's first-year advice for first-year defensive coordinator or first-year coordinator. I think offense, defense doesn't matter. Throw your advice in there. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be recording a podcast. I hope tomorrow I'll be recording a podcast with that as my topic. So if not tomorrow, then this weekend. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. We'll get this recorded and posted up there as soon as we can. If you got things to add, post them up in the forum. I'd love to see that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.